Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today and welcome to the 67th session of Majlis Al Khonji. Today, we have a very interesting session presented by our guest, Coach JD Thomas, representing Eternity Lifestyle Coaching in Dubai, who will talk about how to master your mind emotions with proactive breath work. JD Thomas is the founder of Proactive Breathing and has been sharing his gifts of breathing psychology and performance for the last 2 decades. He's an ex-professional football or soccer player. His passion is to empower individuals to access their inner power and truth so they can live and the life they crave, and deserve. Through his life events, he has shared with thousands of people that has taken him through 5 out of 7 continents on the globe. JD is the author of 3 books, and now he resides in Istanbul, Turkey, with his family. Welcome, Coach Thomas, to Majlis Al Khonji, and thank you for an Eternity Lifestyle Coaching for the chance. Over to you to start the session, and thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you. It's my honor to be here. Like I said, I've been all around the world, and I've been to Oman 3 times, and I just love the culture there and the nature, and so I'm because of that I'm very honored to be able to share with all of you. And also, I want to thank Eternity Lifestyle Coaching to be able to put this together to make an opportunity. Now, what I put together over the last 20 years, really, like she said, is proactive breath and body work. So I want to first talk a little bit about breathing and what it's doing, but then also something called the science of emotions and some of the details that really will benefit all of you. And then obviously towards the end, we'll get to practices and we'll give you something tangible that you could practice and use, not just for yourself, but your family and whoever you want. So if we look at breathing, and usually I love groups because I can see everybody and I can kind of read your body language and see what's going on and tell when you're not listening and whatnot, because I play a lot of games. Now this format is a little bit different, but what I'd like to, as I go through, what I'd like to offer all of you is if you have a question, and we'll get to questions in a little bit, but try to play along with me as if we're in a group, okay? Because usually what I start with is what is breath? You know, the question, what is breath? And in this group, there's going to be different ages. You know, I guess most people are from Oman, but you know, as I travel around the world and I say, what is breath? Some of the basic answers is, the first one is it's energy, right? And breath is energy. It's how we get our energy to think, to move, to function. It's also life. And then people talk about the, movement, oxygen, all of these things. But if I were to ask you another question, and I would say, what do you want more of in your life? Okay, so everybody, wherever you are, just think about that just for a moment. What do I want more of in my life? And it may be, sometimes it's a something tangible. Maybe it's a house, the wife, the family, the opportunity, the career, maybe something to give to our children. And if we boil it down, really, what everybody wants is actually related to an emotion, right? So the human experience is about chasing emotions. And we think we want things sometimes, but it's what is that situation? What is that opportunity? What is that person? What is it going to give me? What am I going to feel, right? Now, as children, let's take this all the way back to, when we were all children, wherever we came from, whatever that environment was like. As children, we are very playful, okay, obviously, and we don't have the responsibilities we do now, but there's a relationship between how we're breathing as a child and our life, okay? So what I said is, what is breath? Breath is life, Okay, we can agree on that. Breath is life, breath is energy. So what do you want more of in your life? Because if you change your breath, then you change your life, because they're associative. Now let's look at an example of how that could be the case. Let's say we're all, let's say 4 or 5 years old, okay? And if you have children, great. If you have grandchildren, great. Think of like, what are they like? What were we like when we were that age? So we're full of life, obviously. We're able to express our emotions. Think of that. So let's say we're playing with some friends. We have some toys, and somebody takes a toy away. We might get mad. We might cry. We might get angry and throw a tantrum. Yeah. So we're able to communicate in whatever way it is, whether we're laughing or crying or yelling. Okay. So and that's an emotion. That's an expression of an emotion. Now let's say mommy and daddy come in. So maybe we're excited. We've been away from them for a while. We can run all the way across the room and give them a big hug. Yeah. So again, we're able to express our emotions. And I forget your name, sir, but you were saying, you missed the ability to touch noses, because of the pandemic. So we all want that connection, right?
My name is
now
Simon.
again,
Yeah, my name is Simon. Easy. Simon. Simon.
Simon.
Yeah. In
Okay.
Arabic, Saman. Which one you want? You select. Thank
Simon.
you.
Simon is good. Simon. 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 Perfect. Okay. So again, let's say we're all 4 or 5 years old and we're full of life. We're having fun. And then someone comes in and slams the door. Yeah. So even if we don't know what happened, or maybe it was an accident, think of what happens. Even at 4 or 5 years old, we do this. Okay, so the body contracts. So now think of the two components we're going to talk about, the breathing and the body. The body contracts, and in that moment, the breathing literally stops. So we stop breathing and we contract our muscle. The body, and if you could go down to the cellular level, what happens is the body remembers that experience. Now, as humans, we usually are not taught how to process that situation, especially if we're a kid. It's like contract, hold on, and we don't know what to do. Now, let's say again, we're kids, we hold on, we're scared. If you observe a child of that age, you go to them and you say, it's okay, what's going on? You're okay, okay, breathe, you're okay. And then once they start breathing, they're here, and then maybe, okay, once they start breathing, they might actually cry, because of the fear, because of the scared. And so that process we need to look at and understand that now there's an intimate relationship between breathing and something I call emotion. Okay, and we all know what emotion is. If we, there's a long list of things, but love, sadness, anger, passion, and the list goes on and on. So all of those, if you just make a list of emotions, those are part of the human experience, and those are what we're looking for. Now, what happens? Let's take that example again. They tighten up, close the breathing just for a moment. Now, if we take that experience and multiply it by every experience we've had in life, and we think of, having to do what mommy and daddy tell us, okay? And then all of a sudden you go to school, and then you have to listen to somebody else, which is not mommy and daddy, okay? You grow older, and then, you have to, in society, in school, whatever, you have to look right. You have to have the right posture. And then there's beliefs. For example, in America, a big one is boys don't cry. Yeah. So if you're a boy, you can't show your emotions. Yeah. A different one, let's say for girls, is girls are maybe not allowed to speak up and don't be too loud, don't be too crazy. That's not okay. And so what happens is inside the body, the resources and emotions inside of us, when the body tightens up and we begin to get tight muscles because of these fears and situations and uncertainties, then our body changes. yeah, and our breathing changes. So if we think of breathing as, and again, it's intimately related with emotions, then now I'll give you another definition of emotion. So in addition to love, sadness, anger, grief, all of these, if you look at the word in English, emotion is just inner motion. Emotion is inner motion. So what that means is right now, inside of you, literally inside your body, how is everything flowing? And tension, stress, situations, trauma, all of those alter the way that life is flowing within you. Now, we could look at that from medicine and science, and we could measure, okay, how much oxygen is in each cell, because every cell in the body lives off of oxygen. You could do all the basic biometric measures like blood pressure, temperature of the body, how that alters, and then later in life, when we start to have more illnesses and challenges, we start to realize that most of that is because of stress and related traumas and experiences. So with this awareness, I had an experience years ago, literally, right, about 20 years ago. And my background is I was a professional athlete. I played football, soccer, a little bit in England, France, and then I was in sales. So I wish I knew what I know now about breathing when I was a professional athlete. It's just starting to come along that they're even open to that type of science. Same thing, I was in sales, which is a high pressure, environment where you have to get the job done. You have goals, you have to set your goals and whatnot. And I wish I knew what I know now, because there's a whole psychology, which I call the science of emotions. Okay, so one more little metaphor of what's happening within all of us right now. Again, breathing and emotions are linked together. So if we're open, if we're full of life, if we take care of ourselves at whatever age, then the inside of the body and the blood flow and the oxygen and the energy, it's like water in a river. Okay, it's flowing, it's moving. But what happens when we get stressed out, it's like we come to the side of the riverbank, we throw some rocks in the air, and then they start to stack up, okay, and all of a sudden the water can't move anymore. Yeah? So that when we feel pain in the body, when we feel tension, random, like, oh, my shoulder's tight today, oh, my hamstrings, my hips are not, open and moving. It's because of this lack of oxygen and movement on the inside. Now, what happens in that experience? Let's say the waters get stuck like with a dam. So the rocks are there, the water's not moving anymore, just like the blood flow and oxygen and life inside of you. Now what happens if it rains? Okay, with that pressure and buildup of water, it's going to move the rocks and everything's going to start flowing again. Now, my first experience with this type of breathing that I'm going to share with you started exactly like that. Now, I wasn't looking for anything. I didn't, know much about breathing, even though I was a professional athlete before. But what happened is I started breathing quicker, okay, and through my mouth at that time. And as I started breathing quicker and was kind of guided by this inner voice, I started feeling more in my body. And literally, I felt like energy. Now, if we study the cells and the nervous system, we know that literally our body communicates from the brain down the spine and then the peripheral nervous system. It communicates by charges, just like electricity and an electron in a light. So it moves through a path and it charges and it fires. So what happened when I started breathing this way, in that moment and my eyes were closed, my body started to get an additional charge. So it's like the nervous system got like charged and fired up. So I felt that on the inside. It felt like tingling, felt like movement, felt like a little bit of heat, which was different for me because I never, I didn't know what that was, but it was exciting And with my eyes closed, what happened is also a psychological process began. And so the simple way to explain this is those areas in our body, let's say that are tight, okay? We take like a tight muscle that's usually like this. When it tightens up, there's a reason why it's tight. And that has to do with, like we said, an experience. Maybe someone slams the door. Could be that simple. And we tighten up. So in the cells remember that. So inside each cell, I like to say cells, if you look at the word, it actually means it's a chamber. Yeah. Now a chamber holds something. And we can talk physiology and mitochondria and everything that's in the cell. But what I mean specifically, what's in there? What is in a cell? We have memories, we have thoughts, traumas, and experiences. So when an area of the body's holding on because it went into contraction and then it didn't know how to relax. And by the way, what do the lungs do? Expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction. Okay, so same thing. When we go into contraction and then we can't expand anymore, we've got a problem. But let's go back to the muscles. Okay, so a tight muscle is contracted, but when we start to breathe like this, what happens? On the inside, you literally get a massage to those areas. And it's not just muscles, but organs, cells, all the different major systems in the body. When they get more oxygen, all of a sudden that tightness begins to relax a little bit, right? And slowly it opens up and goes back into a normal, natural, harmonious space, which charges the cell. Now, whatever's in there, what we say, thoughts, experiences, traumas, whatever, that starts to move as well. Now, when I give either group sessions or private sessions, I ask you to close your eyes. Why? Because when you close your eyes, you go inside. Most of our life, we're focused on the outside. Yeah, I got to get something done. Got to, what do I want? I want to connect with a person, or got to go to the store and buy something. It's all on the outside. But yet every belief system, philosophy, and religion says the answers are where? The answers are within, right? So the science of emotions, I put together the detailed awareness of where are these resources? Where are these resources and emotions within us? Now, when we start breathing like that, what happens is, again, the thoughts and emotions might start to move. When your eyes are closed, you might literally see it. Now, when I had my first experience, what shifted for me, that let's say in my inner world, because my eyes were closed, is there was people that I didn't like so much, or I had judged them, or they hurt me in some way. And with my eyes closed, and I didn't ask for this, it just came to me. I'm breathing, and the body's opening up, and the mind is opening up, and the heart is opening up. And all of a sudden, I just felt like connection and maybe forgiveness or relaxation. And I went to a space on the inside where I had no judgments towards others. And it kind of cut the cord in a way to where all the awareness came back just to me, to where I could manage my own thoughts. I could master my own emotions, which is, that's the title of this particular experience. Because when you practice this, it allows you to connect to yourself in a way that I had never experienced before. And again, it's just using the breathing first off, and then the body work as well. So with that, okay, now I'll tell you how it works and how we can use this, because there's lots of different practices. Okay, there's meditation is getting popular. Everybody wants to meditate. Why? Because maybe their thoughts are too busy. There's too much stress in life. There's too much going on, and they need that connection and space inside just to have some stillness. Yeah, because everything is so busy. So those practices can work for a lot of people. Now, the difference with what I do is it's more active. Yeah, and I think in today's world, it's probably a bit more to the point and precise. And the reason is because most humans, we don't have time. to, sit and meditate. And someone shared about, how they had a shamanic experience that was great, but you can't do that every day. You can't, you don't have like even an hour, after responsibilities and family and getting everything done. So the basic of what I share is using the mouth instead of the nose. And I'll explain why. So when we use the mouth, we're able to breathe deeper. And deeper means all the way into the pelvic floor. Now, why that's important, and now we'll start to put in something that I mentioned before, which is the science of emotions. And what is that? The science of emotions explains how and where all of the emotions move through the body. But within that as well, it's not always emotions, but resources. Okay, what is a resource? Being able to step forward and take charge, the ability to express your truth from the heart, the ability to be vulnerable, to be seen, to feel, instead of focusing all the time, being able to feel. So all of these are human resources that we all have, but they live in certain areas of the body. And when those areas tighten up, it's as if we cannot access them anymore. So the breathing allows us to access and open up those areas that are holding on and shift patterns that are related to that. When the pattern shifts and everything opens up, you can begin to condition new ways of being, literally new patterns in life. So with that, let's look at the patterns real quick, and then we'll get some practice and questions and move with this. What is a pattern? Okay, so there's thought patterns. And usually we can look at that as when we wake up in the morning, what is the first thing we think? Usually for each individual, it's pretty much the same. Or if you put all the thoughts throughout a day, which is, thousands, we tend to go back to the same situations and experiences and people and think about them over and over and over. That's a pattern, okay? Some of those are beneficial for us. Maybe they're empowering. Maybe they get the job done and allow us to function. And a lot of them are just self-sabotage, negative, judgments towards ourselves or others. A lot of them are just getting in the way of, our own connection and happiness. There's emotional patterns, Emotional patterns are easy to see because this is the question. An emotional pattern will show up when you get triggered. And this usually happens with people that you're closest to, partner, children, maybe best friend or whatnot. So, and it'll show up as, somebody across the street can do whatever they want, but when someone close to you says something or does something or whatever, then you get triggered. And then an emotion comes up, and then you got to deal with that emotion, right? So that's an emotional pattern. Physical patterns are just behaviors. It's as simple as when you wake up, do you brush your teeth before or after breakfast? Do you work out 5 times a week or never or once a week, whatever? Do you smoke? Do you, whatever? So these are just behaviors, physical patterns. And then the other big one is relationship patterns, which goes with emotional patterns. And relationships just make everything bigger. So those patterns will just be more intense. So these are the main 4 patterns, and all of other patterns are stemmed off those. Okay, they're kind of associated. So this type of breathing, now here's another word that most people have never heard. And the reason is because we think breathing takes care of itself. It's, the autonomic nervous system and the brain tells us when to breathe. We can sleep. We don't have to, tell ourselves to breathe. It's taking care of itself. So yet on the other hand, we can manage and shift our breathing with awareness. And the benefits would be we start to break some of those patterns, and then everything's flowing and moving. Okay? So probably that makes sense so far. Now we want to look at how do we use breathing to activate and move some of the emotions and resources in the body and get it going. So in general, there's a few different ways that I use it. I'll tell you the main key would be to breathe with the mouth with no pauses. Now what that does, and I'll show you an example here. Let's see. Okay, this can be done sitting up or laying down. Usually when I do private sessions, they're on the massage table. But the main thing is breathing without pauses with the mouth. So why? Because there's two things we want. We want more flow. And I can ask all of you, would you like more flow in life? Flow and ease in life? Yes, of course, everybody wants a bit more of that. And then also expansion. So we breathe just with the mouth. I'll give you a little example. And you can think it's like waves in the ocean. They go up and they go down, but they never stop. So it would be something like, okay. Now, why would we breathe like that? And why do we use the mouth? The mouth allows us to breathe deeper. The nose usually tends to higher breathing, which is good for meditation. But this practice is more, let's say, more movement and flowing, dynamic, like I said. So as we breathe deeper, then from there it starts to come up, and our breathing capacity begins to expand, which is all the way down to the pubic bone and all the way up to the shoulders. So then it's more full and open. That will create literally a kind of a, even it might feel like electricity or movement within the body. Again, it massages those areas that are holding on with oxygen. Things start to move, and then we feel more energy. Most people don't realize this, but 80% of the energy that we get for all functions in our body and our mind comes from oxygen. Okay, so we're multiplying and accelerating that process. So also we breathe with the mouth to find the expansion. Breathing through the nose is better in general if we're walking outside, if we're, throughout the normal practices of the day, because it does have a filter. And so any kind of pollution or any harmful bacteria in the air, the nose filters that. But it's also has a different effect breathing through the mouth, and it's great to do just for 1 hour for that type of experience. Okay, so what I want to do now is demonstrate for all of you and give you feedback on your own what's called breathing pattern. Okay, now we talked about the 4 main patterns that reflect a breathing pattern, and now we'll start to see within your own system what that is telling you. Okay, so just everyone get relaxed and sitting wherever you are. Take your right hand and put it low in your belly, and then put your left hand on above your chest. Okay. And then first just breathe how you are. So if you're breathing with your nose, just sit there for a moment. And the question is, where do you feel movement? Yeah, now what that means is which hand is moving up, okay, and which hand is not. Usually for each individual, you probably primarily breathe either lower or higher. Okay, again, we don't usually think about it, but I'm asking you now to really feel and see what's going on. If you can't feel any movement, okay, now, and this is, I want to show you the difference. Now breathe with your mouth. Okay, the way you do that, really drop the jaw. Okay, so open it, move it a bit. Okay, and okay, now just breathe with the mouth, and I'll guide you a little bit. Now notice which hand is moving more than the other one. If both hands are moving, beautiful, that's great. But usually, like I said, within each person, usually one of those hands is moving and the other one not so much. Okay, so just keep breathing like that. Now I'm going to guide you what this means. If you're breathing low, okay, down here, deep in the pelvic floor. This part is about being grounded and centered, being able to make decisions, being able to open to movement in life. Yeah, think of what do we do with the hips? We dance. Okay, so being open to that flow in life, but it's also where we feel safe. Why? Because this body, you know, regardless of age, this body, this is where you live. This is your home. And so when it's safe to be in your own home, in your body, then you will naturally breathe deeper. Okay, so again, strength, confidence, being grounded, being centered. What does it mean if we breathe there or not? If it's open and moving, okay, so you're inhaling and the lower part is going up, that means you're in touch with those resources. Okay, so everything that I just said, being grounded, being centered, being able to decide. If you're breathing deep in the belly, then those attributes, those abilities in life, those are easy for you. Okay. If you're not breathing deep in the belly, what it means is those resources are difficult. And it means that sometimes, like being clear and certain and making a decision and being strong and confident and feeling safe and strong in your body might be a challenge if you're not breathing down there. So within a session, within a practice, what happens is when we start the breathing moving, in the beginning, it's not immediately going to change because it takes some time. But when you get that rhythm flowing, and then if I'm doing body work, then I'm also touching the body and doing body manipulations and guiding the process. When the oxygen comes there, the reasons why it's holding on start to move. You might see it, you might feel it, whatever, during the session. Then the area opens up. Okay, so then you would be more grounded, centered, confident, being able to make decisions. Let's look at the reverse. And there's lots of different attributes. These are just two kind of polarities here. If your hand on your chest, if it's moving when you breathe, then this part is it's obviously where the heart is, not just the physical heart, but the proverbial heart, which is about love, connection, maybe your higher vision in life. And so if you're breathing upward, then it means you are in touch with your emotions. You might make decisions with your emotions rather than just what makes sense. And it's also expanding out. The shoulders are about responsibility. So if you have really tight, shoulders up here, there's been too much stress and responsibility in life, maybe too much in the mind of judgments about him and her and myself, and not quite feeling good enough or whatever. So that's on the shoulders. So if you breathe in the chest and it's expansive, then you're in touch with those. If there's no movement at all in the chest, what that means is maybe trusting your own emotions, being able to feel the extremes of anger, sadness, frustration, grieving when you lose somebody. Those might be difficult for you. Now, what that means, now let's put the two of those together and say what it means in life. If you breathe only in the chest, but not down below, then that means you're in touch with your emotions. Probably you make decisions based on your emotions. That's a beautiful attribute. However, there's a negative side to that if you're not breathing down below as well. So if you're emotional, then something will come along. You'll like, oh, I want to try that. That's exciting. Something else will come. Oh, I'm going to try that too. And that's good. Let's try. Yeah. But imagine you're like this. Okay. And if you're not grounded, just like a tree has a trunk that goes in the ground, if you're just the branches and the leaves, you're going to be pulled side to side by different situations in life. And then in the end, you might get taken advantage of. Yeah, because someone else comes along, whether it's business, personal, relationships, whatever, somebody else comes along and they're grounded and centered, which means what? They know what they want. Yeah. So that's the negative part. The other one, and that's if you're in the chest but not breathing low. Okay. Open but could get taken advantage of. If you're breathing low but not high, then you're grounded, centered. You know what you want. Even sometimes you can push people out of the way because you don't really care. You know, if the heart's not open, you don't understand with that compassion about others' needs. So it's really about yourself or your vision. And the challenge there is you'll feel as time goes by in life, you'll lose the connection with yourself. And then you'll lose kind of the passion maybe. And also you might get numb because you've lost those resources. And then it's like, you're wondering, you know, there's got to be more to life than this. Okay. So those are two basic examples of how the breathing pattern reflects life patterns. So again, what do? We get movement and volume through those areas. Everything starts to open up and shifts those patterns. We can look at it this way also. Whatever we do to the body, we do to the mind. So when we start breathing like that and the body's going to open up, you're going to see a huge difference in a matter of 5 minutes doing this practice. Then the mind opens up. And then all of a sudden, let's say you aren't sure what to do about something, or you have a business and there's a challenge, you know, think of what's happened in the last year with COVID. Big decisions have to be made, you know, with international business and can't travel anymore and whatnot. So when the mind opens up, you start to see perspectives that you didn't see before. And I'm talking like with your eyes closed, it's kind of like a meditative space. You start to get clarity on things that you didn't even question. You didn't even know the answer or the question, but the question comes and then the answer comes, and you start to find your own resourcefulness on the inside. And again, when the mind opens up, the heart opens up. So then we find more connection. We start to understand people. And then if we want to get something done, we have more passion. We have more drive and motivation to surrender and let us be pulled towards what we need to do in certain situations. Now, obviously, intimacy and connection with our partners, it helps that as well. So breathing does all of these things, but you just have to know how to use it. Okay, so I'm going to give you some quick exercises because right now we don't have, let's say, the time and the space to do. And somebody asked about shamanistic breath work. Usually when I give a private session, it's like 45 minutes to an hour. Hopefully I can come to Oman and we can, share that when the time is right. But right now what I want to do is give you some quick exercises. Because the question is like, well, what can I do? And like, wake up in the morning, do something, takes me 5 minutes, and then I'm ready for my day, right? So let me show you a few. And the first one, to get, let's say, centered, grounded, focused, and ready for your day, especially if you're not breathing low. I'm going to show you this one. And I didn't mention this before, but if you're not breathing low, what's going to happen? You're going to have lower back pain. Okay, the hamstrings are going to be tight because you're not getting life down there. You might have digestion problems. For women, they might have, let's say, more pain at that time of the month in their cycle. So all of that area, when it gets congested, you're going to have more pain. So how do you open that up and use the breathing quickly to get grounded and centered? So you can try this now, and I'll give you a quick. So you want to do with the mouth, take 30 big inhales, but specifically make sure that you're breathing low. So if we're working on breathing here, I would put both hands all the way like above the pubic bone. So a lot of people, they say, well, diaphragmatic breathing, you might have heard that before, which means you use, the diaphragm is here. So as you use that, you breathe in the belly. Sometimes you might be breathing in the belly, but not deep. So I really ask you to go, really deep down here. With your hands. So you'll take 30 big inhales. I'm going to do 5, okay? And then we'll do the 30 together. So and then on the last one, you want to charge the legs and get more energy there. So on the last one, you take a big inhale and hold it with your mouth and then move and hum. Okay, So let's say I'm on the last one, it will be Okay, you do that as long as you can with the hum. What you're doing, when you breathe like that, you're charging the area. Okay, so getting energy to the area. When you move and you hum, the humming creates like a movement through the body that you might feel actually, because it's your own personal voice as well. The movement, okay, you're allowing the muscles to contract and relax, contract and relax, contract and relax. So the nervous system is firing. The muscles are activating and moving the energy. Whatever's preventing you from being open, which again, lower back pain, tension, tight hamstrings, knee problems, all of that. Just that simple movement there with the hum, okay, and then relaxing, you'll feel more energy and flow. And then all of a sudden, naturally, you'll start breathing deeper all day long. Okay, so you'll be more open in general. So I would like you all to try it one time at least. In general, what I'll give you is I would say 3 sets of 20. Okay, and when it gets comfortable, you go up to 25 and 30. Okay, but just try this now. Everyone get comfortable and put your hands in the lower belly. And we're going to take, I'll count them. We'll take 20 big inhales. So with the mouth, okay, get comfortable. Relax the legs. They should be on the floor. And hand down here and breathe into the hands. Make sure it's coming all the way down. Ready? Go with the mouth. So 1, 2, good. Big 3, 4, 5. Keep going. Just like a rhythm. Okay, remember, like a wave in the ocean, goes up, goes down, no pauses. And on the exhale, really let it go. That's about 10. Keep going. 11, 12. And now on the exhale, really feel the shoulders just let go. You want to let the body just surrender on that exhale. Okay, keep going. That's about 15. Do about 5 more. 1, 2. Okay, we're almost there. As big as you can. These last few, really take them all the way down and really big. You might get lightheaded. That's normal. Okay. Now on the last one, we're almost there. Take a big inhale and hold it. And then with your mouth, close it and hum. So, good. So you can hear yourself. Now with the legs, just move them. Open, close, open, close, open, close. Get that movement. Keep humming. Good. As long as you can, keep humming and moving. As long as you can. When you have to relax, then finally just close your eyes and okay, just let go and close your eyes and notice what you see or feel inside. Now you might feel a shift in the breathing, might be more open. You might feel a little bit lightheaded. That's normal. It's a good thing. And with your eyes closed, you might just sense more space and less thoughts. Okay, in that space, you can begin to create, you can connect to yourself in a deeper way. And because it's just you with your eyes closed, you get a sense of relaxation, but also with energy. Not like you want to sleep, but just relaxation, knowing that everything's flowing the way it should. Okay, so I'll show you another exercise. Let's say, and this one was to breathe deep, right? And I'll give you one variation quickly. If anyone has one of these, this is a yoga brick. You can get them, at even a grocery store probably has them. The foam one is good. Okay, get one of these and have it in your house. Another way to use the legs, same thing, 3 sets of 20, start with. Instead of the movement, when you hum, you could just put that in there and squeeze it. So with the legs, you're humming and squeezing together. Okay, one time as long as you can. Now another one, let's say you don't breathe much in the chest and you want to open that up, okay? Usually it's because, and everybody can, if you want to check, put your hand, your fingers right underneath your diaphragm, right here, and just take a big inhale. Okay, most people have some kind of tension there. That's at the top of the diaphragm, which is the muscle that allows us to breathe. Now, some people as well, you might feel not just a tension there, but literally like a belt that goes all the way around. It's like just a lingering tension, okay? Now that, if you feel that, it means there's just a kind of you'll have almost like a background noise in the mind, like just this lingering anxiety of, needing things to be a certain way or not sure what's next, and you don't feel comfortable about it, for example. What we want to do with the breathing, as we breathe low, we want to move through that to where it relaxes as well, and then we're up, moving through the chest and outward. So same practice you can do in the morning, but the movement is different when you want to open up the chest. So I'll do 5, okay, and then we'll practice together. So again, I would say put your hands, there's 2 ways to put the hands. One is on the chest and use both hands so that you can feel the expansion as it goes up, like, okay, and you're moving up and out with the inhale. Another way, if you have a lot of tension, and this is common as well, especially when there's lots of responsibilities, if you have a lot of tension in the shoulders, okay, then you can literally just kind of find a spot where you have tension and then hold it and pull down a little bit. Okay, another way is crossing the arms, but this is a little more probably comfortable depending on your body. You can choose, okay? So something like that. And then you would just put a little bit of weight, and again, watch my chest. Okay, and with your whole arms, you can kind of feel that expansion. So that'll give you a guide. Each day you practice, hopefully there's more movement. So either way is fine. And I'll do 5 so you can see that. Okay, on the 5th one, you're either going to do a pull or a push, okay, depending on what feels right, and it's going to activate the muscle, actually the muscles behind the shoulder blades. So you can put hands together like this, and you're going to hum and one time as long as you can. Another one, same, you can use the brick, okay, same thing, but pushing. Okay, they both activate the arms, which connects to the muscles behind the shoulder blade, and the pushing does a little bit more on the front. Okay, so again, 30 big inhales. On the last one, pushing this and humming. As long as you can. If you don't have one of these, same thing, you could just use your hands and pushing together. Afterwards, relaxing, closing the eyes, noticing what you feel or see, and 3 sets of 20. Okay, so let's try this one for everybody. We'll do 20 big inhales. Again, you can either put your hands here or on the shoulders if you have a lot of shoulder tension. Okay, so get comfortable. I'll guide you to 20 big inhales. Okay, let's begin. Breathing with the mouth. Letting go. Good. In, out. 2, 3, 4. Good. Pulling down but try to, on the exhale now, really let go of the shoulders. Okay, keep going. That's about 6. So the body lets go on the exhale. The inhale, you expand. Exhale, letting go. 8. Good. Keep going. Good. Just like a wave in the ocean. Goes up, down. 11. 12, 13, 14. Great. Keep going. 15. Good. About 5 more. Make the last ones as big as you can, especially because it's the chest. You really want to take the inhale longer. Exaggerate it. Good. A few more. In, out. Okay, now the last one, if your hands are on your shoulders, okay, you can just pull down and hum and get into some of those areas. Okay, pulling, pulling. If you have just hands or a brick, you can squeeze there. Or if you want, you can also pull. Good, humming, humming, as long as you can, keep going until you exhaust yourself, just one time. As you relax, keep the eyes closed, just let it all settle and notice anything that you feel or see on the inside. Noticing your breathing, noticing any energy or movement. And between the 3 sets, when you do 3 sets each day, this part in between the sets is very important, okay? It's like, you know, we work during the day, we rest at night. So you do the work, which is the breathing and the movement, okay? Then you have to rest. You have to connect and just close your eyes, see what's in there. Give yourself that space without thoughts to notice and to receive. So there's giving and receiving, and the work, the breathing, that's like giving to yourself. But then can you relax and notice and receive insight or connection or awareness? All right. Okay, so what we're going to do now, those are some simple examples. Now, if anybody, I would like to be more detailed if anyone's open for this, because we said that breathing and emotions are connected together. The science of emotions allows us to tell what's going on inside. So to give a more detailed explanation, what I would like to do is if anybody wants to volunteer, what would happen is I would put you on the screen and observe. Hopefully everybody could see you as well. And just from observing what's called your breathing pattern, then I can tell you how you see yourself, how you see the world, what needs to open up, what's blocking in life, and how to shift those patterns and use the breathing to get it all going. So would anyone like to volunteer for that?
Sheikh Simon.
Okay.
I'll do that with pleasure, but it's a bit too late for me. Get the younger ones. You know, somebody younger than me.
I think regardless of who it is, we'll all learn from it. So.
Okay. Tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Okay.
I'm going to feel better. So I stand up, I sit down, what do I do?
Yeah, I was just looking at the chat. Okay. So also, if anyone has any questions, just put it on the chat as well, and we'll start to move through those next as well. Okay. Simon.
Yeah.
Right? So what you're going to do, I need to see your breathing. So if you could put your camera to where something like this and you're relaxed.
JD, I tell you, it's a bit difficult. I'm wearing a dish dasha. You won't be able to see much.
Okay.
Much in my tummy, but you won't be able to see. Let me see. Like that?
Okay.
You can
I
put
think
your
so,
finger
yeah.
on.
Can you see me like that? Is that how you want it?
Yeah, that's good.
Wow, I've got a great tummy here.
أستاذ سيمون ممكن ترجع لورا بالكرسي بنشوفك بوضوح. أيوة.
لا الحمد لله الحمد لله بعد.
وترفع الكام شوي. بيكون ممتاز. خلاص. You are perfect.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so just breathe first. Just breathe the way you always do. So I don't want to see anything we practice, but just like as if you're not thinking about it. How do you breathe? So let's look at that.
But I'm talking, I'm breathing now.
Yeah.
It's very difficult not to think about it now that you want me not to think.
Okay, now take a big inhale, whatever that means to you. So take a big inhale. We'll observe and see if that's different.
Yeah, I do it with my nose though, usually.
Okay, that's fine. Breathe with your nose. Okay, and relax.
Can't see anything moving there.
I change this. I can go inside and wear a sports shirt.
Whatever, but I can see, I can tell you what's going on.
Okay, if you can see, that's
Okay,
good.
so now just breathe with your mouth. Just with your mouth, like just
deep
normal,
one?
but
A deep one or just normal?
no, just like normal. Just switch to your mouth, inhale, exhale with your mouth instead of your nose. Okay. Hold on, let me move that for a second. Okay, so keep breathing with your mouth, and I will tell you what's going on there. So, hold on. Change. How do I get back? Okay, sorry, the video messed up. Okay, so where your hands are, there's good movement there, right? So you're breathing deep. You can probably feel that. Yeah. Most of your breathing goes down on a normal basis.
To be honest with you, let me guide you a little bit. When we did the first exercise,
Yeah.
and 90% of my breathing was in the right hand here. It's down.
Okay.
But then when you said, now start thinking, maybe there was not even a balance, but the top improved, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
But when you were talking, I had my hands here, and I am practically sure that most of my breathing goes here.
Yeah.
Which means I'm away from emotions, and I'm going to cry because of that.
So what it means is you're grounded and centered, and you can make decisions. Yeah. So that's a good thing. When you do, sit back again and take a big inhale, and I want to point out something here that I didn't mention before.
Yeah.
Okay, so take a big inhale with your mouth. With your mouth. Big inhale.
Off you go.
Okay, so my guess is you have a little bit of tension in here. Maybe put your hand there and see what's happening. But here, under. Yeah. So what I would say is the challenge for you sometimes is to trust your own emotions. Okay. You're in touch with your emotions because when you take a big inhale, there's this expansion like this, and the energy goes up. So that is good. It means you're in touch with your emotions, but you have a tendency to push them down. Okay. And you always question the environment. So and because here is about trust, and for you, that's like it's a door. So when you're in, let's say you show up in a room full of 15 people, then you might, when you meet somebody, you will kind of test the environment or the person to see if it's safe to open up, because you want to open up. You're in touch with that. You want to show more of yourself, but sometimes you don't trust the moment or the person or the experience. So, and then when you inhale, also you have a bit of a as you breathe up, it does this. Do you feel that? So a big inhale, if we think of a baby, when a baby inhales, it's just expansive. So they're more like, okay, the whole body expands in every direction. Yours kind of pulls your back here upward, if that makes sense. Yeah, so take a big inhale, see if you can feel that.
With the mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, and even your head even goes up a little bit like that. So what that means is you've got tension behind the shoulder blades, okay, which is back here, Okay, those muscles are pretty tight, which is also this balance of giving and receiving love. I would guess that the right side is tighter. Yeah, so it means that you give a lot from your heart, but sometimes you felt like maybe you gave too much, like you were frustrated, and maybe it didn't go the way you wanted, and you kept giving and giving, but maybe it didn't come back in whatever form you thought, and then you got a little frustrated and said, okay, that's enough, leave me alone. Yeah, so because also your right shoulder is a little lower. Yeah, the right shoulder is about let's say judgments or frustrations we have with others. Yeah, and it could go way back to childhood, who knows. Yeah, but usually those patterns will show up again and again in life with different people, different situations. So you sometimes in your mind you're a little frustrated with experiences. Probably there's also some anger that you wanted to express that wasn't allowed to be expressed at a certain time. And again, it could go back to childhood or whenever. Yeah, but that's kind of still sitting on your right shoulder. Yeah, and all the way down behind the shoulder blade. So the breathing can help that, and what it will do is it'll give you the ability to be safe, to feel your emotions more, okay? And then also to give from your heart instead of from responsibility. Yeah.
Good. Well, I mean, I know a little bit myself, and you're making me discover other aspects. Let me tell you about myself a little bit. It'll be good to compare.
Okay.
What you said. I have never done anything without emotions, which is good and bad. It's good because it's genuine when you're dealing with people. It's bad because you can't hide it when you're doing business. And I'm sure His Excellency Khamis knows what I'm talking about. You see, if you show too much emotions when you're doing business, it's bad. So I taught myself, and that's why I suggested that a younger man should take the test. I taught myself how to control my emotions and transcend them. It is very, very rare that I get very angry, but I control it in 2 seconds. I transcend. Now, what you said physiologically is absolutely true. I don't have a problem with my right shoulder. I always thought it's because I play tennis. But indeed, I've got always a stiff muscle on the right, exactly where you said I have. And secondly, when you talked about the upper here, the limit of the diaphragm, indeed, I felt it like a belt. So it's fine. That's good. It's good. You've definitely the exercise of breathing from the mouth is new to me. And when we close the eyes, it's like launching me in a satellite in the cosmos. I didn't find myself. I need to train a lot to discover the other self, on the other side, if you see what I mean.
Yes.
So thank you. If there is time for question, I will come back, to some questions when you finish.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Simon, for volunteering.
Good.
Good. So we could do one more. If someone else wants to do same thing, and I can observe your breathing and see what's going on. Also, we have the chat. So if you have any, let's see, Manal said, great. Breathing equally from the chest and the belly. Nice. So what are we doing with this type of breathing? We're getting back to a natural breathing. Now that's different from common breathing. So common breathing is what is your breathing pattern now? Because we all have a history and experiences and whatnot. So common breathing pattern is what's showing up based on your psychology and experiences. A natural breathing pattern, and you can look at the word natural, goes back to, it's the same word as natal, okay? Nurture, natal, which goes back to birth, yeah? So how are we breathing when we're born? Sometimes we have a birth trauma, okay, that can happen. You know, you come out late or cesarean or, you know, whatever the case is, maybe the mother's having challenges. But if you watch a baby breathe, then it's very natural. And what that means is it's just they expand, relax, expand, relax. But again, we, you know, through years of experiences of challenges and traumas and thought processes and like a great example, you know, business, you know, it's kind of like boys don't cry, boys can't cry. You know, it's like business, you've got to go into your mental aspect and kind of shut down the emotions a little bit to get things done. So those kind of decisions, even though we're conscious of it, can alter the physiology and some of our resources on the inside. So would anyone else like to have a demonstration?
Mr. Khalil Al-Balushi, would you like to try?
It's fun. It's fun.
Khamis,
Try.
And we could also open this up for any questions.
سعادة خميسك يومي أنا أشوف إن الكاميرا يعني موجهة ومضبوطة وأنت مستعد للتمرين، إيش رأيك؟
you are muted.
Can you open the mic please? Yeah.
والله اليوم تعذرون يمكن المرة القادمة إن شاء الله.
على راحتك.
So quickly, I know one of the big questions is how is this related to what's going on now in the world, which is COVID? You know, it's beautiful that there's such an awareness. Everybody knows now because of COVID. Yeah, well, breathing, you know, that's important. People are dying now because they can't breathe. The first thing that we need to do individually is become responsible for our own body and our own mind and our own emotions to prevent, you know, and we don't know what's next. I mean, there's different types of viruses coming out and whatnot. The best thing we can do is to keep our body healthy and strong so that if we do have a virus flowing through us, whether it's COVID or whatever, we're more prepared and our immune system is at its, you know, height to be able to deal with whatever's there. So there was also many studies done on this type of breathing with the immune system, and it was proven that just breathing like this, and they did some studies actually injecting, I think it was E. coli, particular strand, and after breathing like this for, I think it was 30 minutes a day for a few days, the people that were breathing like that, they altered their immune system to where they didn't have the fever or the symptoms that other people had. So really it's about staying prepared and strong.
I think we have a question from Mr. Hilal.
Okay.
Mr. Hilal.
Yes, I have a question. Thank you, Thomas, for the great exercises. I just wanted to know if these exercises are suitable for asthmatic people like me.
Yes. So if we look at what happens with asthma, is it's really on the exhale, we think it's you can't breathe because of the inhale, but really what happens is there's a contraction on the exhale, which doesn't allow the carbon dioxide to flow out. Now, so we could look at that physiologically, but like I said, what I love is the science of emotions, understanding like what is the cause of these physical challenges. So the breathing does help. What you want to do if you practice is maybe take it slower so that and I breathe pretty quick because I practice, but when you practice, even take a slight moment, like not even a full second, but take a moment on the height of the inhale. Okay, so for example, you would hold for a moment and then exhale. Inhale, hold, right there, and then exhale. Okay, so when you're doing your 3 sets of 30, add a little moment of retention before you exhale. Okay, so psychologically and with the nervous system, it tells the body that it can retain and also let go. So it creates a bit of a rhythm there. Now, when we tie that to, let's say, the emotional components of what that's about, asthma usually shows up in childhood and then either gets worse or kind of fades away and gets better, depending on the person. But the emotional component is kind of like a feeling of not wanting to try anymore. Yeah, so like sometimes not feeling safe in the body or the house or the environment as a child. But then it's in addition to that, feeling almost helpless, like there's things we know we can do, that we have the answers and we do it, but that feeling of helpless is like it's like you're not sure how to get out of the situation. So emotionally, it's usually related to that, and it's safe to do the 3 sets of 20. It'll probably help, and just add that little retention on the extension of the inhale. Yeah.
From the lower or from the upper body? Which one is
So
more
on the
helpful?
asthma, you want to make sure that you're lower, but try to, depending on your breathing pattern, but try to connect the dots. So if you put both, yeah, then try to breathe all the way down and all the way up and just hold it just for a moment. So hold, let go. In, hold. Yeah, so you feel yourself expand and then hold and then let go. That should help the asthma. Yeah. Okay, someone's asking about sleep, looks like. Okay, so sleep, one of the main challenges, there's sleep apnea when we stop breathing during sleep, but if you're not able to sleep, then usually it's because of the mind. Okay, so let's say you got to get things done, the mind is still creating and deciding, making decisions, and you just can't let go and relax. There's another way of using the breathing to sleep, and the best way is, number one, you need to be comfortable. So I would say the first question is, how do you usually sleep? Okay, some people face down, some people face up, some on their side, right or left. You might grab a pillow and squeeze a pillow. Okay, so whatever your normal, comfortable position is, first you get in that position, and it really is nice with a pillow. And there's 2 main ways to do that. If you're on your side, just hold it. Okay, maybe it's a long pillow, like in between your hands and your legs, and you have it there. Same practice, a little bit slower and really big. So each inhale as big as you can. In this case, you're not focusing on lower or higher, but you're just focusing on expansion. Okay, so for example, if I'm, let's say I'm on my side and I'm holding a pillow, okay, then it's just, okay, so expand as big as you can. It's important on this one because you want to relax. On the exhale, literally in your mind, see and feel, especially those areas that are holding on. Let's say you're holding the pillow, feel the body let go on the exhale, because you want to really drop into that relaxation. So, okay, and if the body moves, if the head lets go or whatever, give it the freedom to do that. That way you're telling the body to relax more. The big inhale and hum, don't do that, because the hum and the contraction or movement, that charges the body. And at the end of the day, if you're trying to sleep, you want to just ease into the sleep with relaxation. Now, a lot of times when we can't sleep, we're in the head a lot, and we just need more space inside. Some people, it's because they don't feel completely in their body because they're in their mind. If that's the case, what you want to do is get a pillow. Okay, this is a small pillow, so literally you're gonna put this under your hips. So in the bed, you might be laying on your front, okay? But this is under your hips, so your hips are up a little bit. And then you would put your hands up and then the face to one side, okay? So that position, face down on the bed. And the reason you would put the pillow there, it props up the hips, which allows you to breathe deeper, which it gives you more settled and relaxation. Again, I would say start with 20 big inhales in that position with the pillow there in between the hips. Expand, relax, expand, relax. On 20, just relax. Close your eyes and literally question, be curious about what you see, okay? When you really relax into that, you might see colors, you might see thoughts. Simon said he, took a rocket ship into the space. So whatever's there, just be with it. If you do, and again, 3 sets of 20 is a good way to start. If that gets easy, you can go up to 3 sets of 30, even more. In between the sets, really just feel the bed. Feel the pillow underneath you, feel, relax, and surrender into the bed. Probably you'll, after maybe 1 set in that position, you might just shift right into sleep. And that's great. And then you wake up next morning, you'll sleep better, deeper, which is very important. And one of the most important parts is that you have about 1 hour of REM, which is rapid eye movement and deep sleep. Because sometimes we sleep 6, 7, 8 hours, but you don't have that really deep, which is important. The breathing will help you get more out of the sleep, regardless of how long you sleep. So, yeah.
Yeah. JD?
Yeah.
Yeah. If no other questions, I would like to ask you a favor, please. I liked very, very much the image you gave of the tree where we are rooted, grounded in the bottom thing, where our comfort zone, and the branches are pulled by emotions probably and experiences in all directions. Can you explain more the relationship and how we can use breathing to do things with these resources?
Okay, so and if you look at the word resource, I like to explain it this way. What is a resource? Okay, it could be confidence, strength, the ability to enjoy emotions, connection, expression. That's a big one. Can you express from the heart? If you look at the word resource, it is also resource. So it's connecting us again to where we came from, the source of, whatever you want to call that, where we came from is the source. So it's connecting us back to what's authentic and what is natural, okay? Very much like a tree. A tree is natural, it grows, it doesn't ask anybody's opinion, it just does what it's supposed to do, and then is part of, of what is natural. So a tree always starts as a seed, and then grows beneath the earth, and then it sprouts and comes out. So without that foundation, then even the growth upward is not, it's not gonna, it can't grow without the foundation if it's a tree. But yet if a tree's already there and we cut it down and we take away its foundation, then it's gonna fall or die. Okay, so similar, same metaphor, depending on how we want to use that. Now, if we're a tree, then you can think of so from here, let's say this is the earth, okay, and our roots are there. If we're not breathing there, then it's as if we're not giving nutrients, which to a tree is, water and what it needs, nutrients in the soil. If we're not breathing there, our foundation and strength is being literally taken away. So that's why it's important to breathe and get there and now we could look at what else does a tree need? A tree needs sun, right? It needs water and sun. The sun is what we grow towards, whether we're a flower or a plant or whatever. So the sun is, let's say, our highest vision in life, our ability to be who we are. And it's always there, but sometimes we can't feel it. So as we breathe upward, and again, you can just use the body as a diagram of the tree. So the roots are down here, but as it moves up and moves through the chest and the heart, then we have growth, we have expansion, we have opportunities. But if we're cut off from that, then it's going to be very difficult. And we're going to feel like we're working so hard in life. And I can say, even with my professional soccer career and everything I did before breathing, it was like hard work. It was like really so much of a challenge that it was painful. I didn't enjoy it anymore. Yeah, and nobody wants that in life. But yet, when we're cut off from our source, which let's say is the sun, that's where we get our tree. That's where we put everything, which is actually oxygen for humans. Then we don't have that movement through the heart, which is emotions, which is literally emotion is the reason for living. Yeah, because the human experience, we're constantly, looking to feel what we want to feel. So that's why it's important and where it shows up in the body. And we looked at some of the tension in the shoulders. We all have tension in the shoulders from responsibilities. That takes away also, it creates a barrier for us to, and here's another visual for you. This here is the visual expression of victory. Yeah, so if we think of like the Olympics, when you finally win the gold medal, what do? They do that. And we all want that that opportunity to express and do what we love and allow that to flow. Now, if you look at it again, what is this? It's literally, if you look where it comes through, the heart, it's really just an extension of the heart, the arms, when we do it that way. And so, and what I love to allow people to understand, what I want in my own life as well, is where we connect to ourselves, and then we surrender to a natural flow where everything is just easier in life. Things get done, but it's because we love it and it comes through our heart. So yeah, that's the visual, and you can study body language and how do we use our body to show that. But again, and then as it moves up, then we have opportunities, because branches go in every direction. They're beautiful, they're different. Each branch is unique. So that would be like, how can we extend and connect with people like we are here today? How can we grab opportunities and flow and enjoy? And the breathing, again, you can see it within the body, the breathing connects all that. And one more metaphor of visual, it's literal. What are the lungs? If you look at the lungs, they look like a tree, an upside down tree. So with branches, and they're just coming from here going down. So yeah, let's see. What
JD,
else?
I have a point, if it is possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, you said it is directly connected, the way we breathe, and it's directly connected to our immune system and all that. But now practically what will happen is that we feel bad somehow. We go to see a doctor, for example, internal medicine or physiotherapist, and they will tell us whatever it is, and you go back home. I don't have experience of anybody of these type of professions telling us, oh, you better breathe better, in a better way. We don't know if we are breathing well or not, or we didn't know before this session. But what I'm saying is that when you see it physically, your immune system is not really responding to what it should do, and you go to see a profession and they don't tell you at all about, well, they don't tell you even about walking and all that, most of the time. So how it is connected, how people generally go and see a doctor who tells them this. I don't know if I make sense asking this question, but what I mean is that we probably don't know unless we feel a pain in the muscle and we go to see a physiotherapist.
Yes.
And he gives you a massage, or I don't know, Voltaren or here and there, but they don't tell you, oh, you're not breathing well.
Right. So what I said that I shared and put together is called the science of emotions, right? So most of, let's say, Western medicine at least, studies the physiology, yeah, which is anatomy and cells and, you know, anything that you can put on a microscope. That's where medical science is. Now, the science of emotions, it's a different science. Now here in Turkey, for example, me and my wife, because she also does this, often we're on TV and we'll be sitting right next to a panel of, 5 doctors, whether we're talking about, like asthma, for example, or sleeping challenges or breathing for children, whatever the case is. There's a beautiful openness, at least in this country, where they're starting to question and they're wanting to know not just the physiological, aspects of, oxygen moving to the blood, but what does that have to do with our, emotions and our stress levels, and how do we alter that? So again, most doctors, they're gonna share with you what they know, which is beautiful. We need that. But most of them also have not studied. And this is what I'm sharing is kind of a new way of putting together Eastern medicine and Western medicine. Because even thousands of years ago, before there was so much developed, so much study and awareness and development of medicine, which is a pill, when we didn't have that, what they were prescribing hundreds or thousands of years ago was either nature. Okay, so and I'm sure you have this in your culture, maybe grandmothers, they know like how to make a certain kind of tea, or how to get a certain kind of fruit that might, help the immune system or the body, or some kind of benefit. So we used to use nature and breathing, and a lot of that has been lost. But this new science that everything I'm sharing with you now has come out, I would say in the 60s and 70s. There were 2 main types of modern breath work, which was holotropic breathing and rebirthing. Now they're a lot different than what I do, and they're not actually as detailed, but they realize that there's a psychological component that can be opened when we breathe a certain way. So it's a process of that awareness coming together with Western science and most doctors. So in some areas of the world, it's more open, and others, it's still a bit of a challenge because, and it makes sense. I mean, a lot of the pharmaceutical processes and companies, they make their money off of selling a pill or a medicine, which is fine. But there's also other ways that complement that process. Now, I have friends and people that come to me all the time that say, I feel something there, whether it's a tight muscle or something going on. A lot of times in the belly, that will happen, and they're like, I feel it. I know something's going on. I went and got X-ray, and then I got a blood test, and then I got, I did all these things, and the doctor just looked at me and said, nothing is wrong with you. You're fine. Every test showed up normal or perfect. And so and then they come to me, and then we can talk about what's the real essence of the challenge. And then in the breathing, although it opens up and it helps and it does all these things, sometimes within the session also they receive their own insight, because they're so connected to their body and who they are in that moment that different awarenesses come as well. So yeah, it's just about being able to put all those sciences together. And that's why I love what I do, because it's new for most people. And it's just a matter of getting the education out there and how to practice. And it's coming along. It's a process, but I see it all the time, like I said. And the breathing really does help those situations that they can't find with tests and basic medicine, because it's more emotional based. So
Thank you, Jerry. Dr. Lamia, do you have any question since you are from the field, from the medicine field?
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Thank you, JD. I enjoyed your session. I'm a gynecologist at a tertiary hospital, and I personally believe in the Western medicine and also the complementary alternative therapy, and I believe both should work together. I look after some menopausal women, and there are some of them who suffer from hot flushes, and maybe they have, breast cancer and can't use estrogen. So we tell them to do the layering of clothes and, breathing. Any specific advice for hot flushes?
So, as you know, that's mostly hormones, and I don't know the exact hormones.
Yeah, but we can't give them HRT, and we can give them other medication like Effexor and all. But let's say they're not interested to use medication. So then, are there any breathing, any tips on that? And the second question I have is, now with Corona, there's a lot of anxiety because we thought we were getting back to normal life when the numbers were going down, and we were all very happy, including in the hospital. Now the numbers seem to go up, and we're going to have to prepare for, allocating more beds for COVID. And, the hospital is very good at that. But for us as individuals, it's a lot of anxiety because you want to plan a month ahead before you can plan 3 months ahead, and more or less it happens that way. And now it's like week by week or even day by day. So it's a lot of anxiety. Any 5-minute breathing exercise that we can to reduce anxiety and keep focused?
So, so there's two questions there about anxiety and then for the hot flashes. Let's start with the first one. I think with hot flashes, I mean, I've had people come to me for that, and we use the same breathing. Usually in that situation, I'm doing one-on-one sessions, which is like I said, about 45 minutes to an hour. And from my experience, sometimes it helps, sometimes not so much, because it's, again, hormones and it's hard to regulate. But I would definitely say they should try. And I would say 5 to 10 minutes a day would at least open up the body. Sometimes when an area is tight and holding on, let's say they're not breathing in the belly, that could, maybe indirectly be associated with what's going on, even though it's a natural process in the body. So make sure they're breathing low for sure. And you might actually, in the moment, you might actually just ask them to breathe and look, because when we're not breathing in the belly, it pushes everything up. And this is related to the second question. Then we get anxious. So if you think of, like, let's say a panic attack, and you'll see this in the hospital as well, what that looks like in the body is usually the breathing pushes up and it's like, okay? So it's let's say lighter, it's not completely expanded, yeah? And it's not low, so it's high and kind of quick and agitated. So what you want to do with that, and this is for both examples, you want more space. Then you can think of the mind. You want more space and less thoughts, or more space and more space so there's not that anxiousness. So you would want to breathe all the way down, breathe again lower. And then especially with anxiety, you want to breathe a little bit slower, but still in a rhythm. So similar to what I explained with the asthma, take a really big inhale and really relax on the exhale with a slight moment at the top of the inhale. So hold, okay? And what's important there again is on the exhale, really relaxing and letting go. So, so both can be used for those two situations. Make sure that they're breathing deep in the belly, and actually with women with hot flashes, maybe observe first and see and make sure they're breathing in the belly. If not, put some pressure there.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anyone would like to ask any more question before we end the session, please?
Yeah, a general comment, if I may. General comment, really general.
Okay.
Sure.
You see, I walk every day and I do
Right.
exercises every day. It's good, it's beneficial. However, let me tell you something which I think all disciplined people experience. Having to do that and organizing the time to do that puts more stress than relaxing the stress. I want to relax. You see, let me give you an example. I am in the office, and I know that at 5 o'clock I have to walk, because I walk every day at 5 o'clock. Let's say now I do it in the morning. At 3 o'clock I start getting tense. 5 is coming. You know, please shorten the meeting. I have to go now. Where's the driver? Where's that? You know, I think the flexibility, and we don't know how to handle that. I know many members of my family.
Do it in the morning.
Yeah, I do at 5:30, at 4 o'clock. I'll tell you what I do, Haji. I wake up. Who commented? Walid, maybe. I wake up. I do the exercise, 1 hour walking, aerobics. Then I go to sleep again. So I pretend the day has not started until I wake up for half an hour. Then I go. What I want to say, whether it is yoga, whether it is breathing exercises, if you have to do them daily, you know, they put stress on you to achieve them. They are very beneficial, but they do put stress. Let's put it this way. The day I don't walk, I can't sleep. My conscience is not clear.
Okay.
So it's quite something. Anyway, thank you.
So I have a question for you. Do you enjoy walking?
A lot. But wait, hold on. Which time do I enjoy walking? This is the thing. I think I enjoy. It's like sleeping. What time do you enjoy sleeping? It's when you are not sleeping anymore, because when you're sleeping, you don't feel anything. It's when you wake up that you enjoy. Same thing for walking. I enjoy it when I'm finished walking. You know.
Okay, that's why I ask you. So now, what the breathing does is it allows us to feel. Okay, especially the more you breathe. So it sounds like you're doing it, but you're focused. So these are like two sides of the same coin. We need to be able to do both, focus, but also feel. Okay, so the way that you add some feeling to your walking is you add the breathing. So how long do you walk?
An hour.
An hour. Okay. So now
that's the length in time. In the length is 5 kilometers.
Okay. Now, when you walk tomorrow or next time, if you walk today, coordinate or synchronize your breathing with your walking. Yeah. So for example, if you're gonna inhale like two steps. Okay. So step. Okay. If you can see me, if I'm walking. So
yeah. I see what you mean, like when you're swimming, yeah.
Okay, so do that, but make your inhales bigger than usual. Now, what that's going to do, you're going to access simply with the breathing. You're going to start to touch on areas like your right shoulder where it's holding on, maybe behind here, maybe deeper in the belly. On the inside, you're going to start to access and open up those areas that are holding on. Now, focus is contraction. Now, everything that you said so far, what you want and need is more relaxation and expansion, right? So you need to go from focus to feeling and relaxing. The breathing, adding the breathing and synchronizing it with your steps will allow you to feel more, okay? And relax. That way it's not a doing, but a being. And you'll feel the difference when you practice. But just take bigger inhales and synchronize it with your steps. You'll enjoy it more, and it'll be a different experience, and it'll shift the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Thank you. We have another question from Mr. Haji Adam. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your very impressive presentation. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I just want to comment on what Mr. Simon Karam said. Mr. Simon, this is a quite common syndrome in the morning when you wake up and you start planning to go for a walk. Before starting, you get a little bit stressed, but by the time you arrive on the beach, you feel comfortable. And then once you start walking, you forget that that you had any stress. So we experience this actually every day. As soon as you open your eyes, you know, you start thinking, should I go? Should I not go? So I'm glad that, you know, somebody else is also feeling the same way. The other thing I want to mention, you know, I have done courses in Sudarshana Kriya, and in Kriya we are taught that we do a little bit of warming up, then we do our Kriya, and finally we do the meditations. In your method, do you think what time is the best time if I'm going for a walk? When is the best time that I do my breathing? Should I do it before I start, or should I do it halfway, or should I do it at the end of the walk?
So
thank you.
If you remember the practices we did before, which was 3 sets of 20, okay? So you would put those before the walk, and then add breathing in the walk with synchronization of the movement, okay? And then after, you might just do one set of 20 or 30, but without sound, and then just be and feel if you have time for that. So 20 big inhales, and then just close your eyes and relax. So what you're doing there is the first practice of 3 sets of 20 with humming and movement, depending on your breathing pattern. That's going to charge the body. Okay. If you're walking in the morning, probably you're already charged because you slept, hopefully. But it's like, to use your words, that's like a warm up. Yeah, warm up and charge, both the mind and the body. And then you're in your process of walking or working out or doing whatever you're doing. And you want to honor that with relaxation. So that would be 20 big inhales, and then just close your eyes and feel a little bit. And in that space inside, because you've done the movement as well and the charging, so charge and discharge, then you might be able to, in that space, just make a few decisions about the day, which is also nice. You might receive some insight about, a different way of doing things because you're more connected. And then the rest of the day will be more relaxed and flowing.
Thank you.
So
Just for the interest of the others, we have changed the hum here in Oman, because normally it's an om humming. So we changed it to Amin, and it has the same effect. Those who are Muslims, normally when they do this, when they hum, they say Amin. And it's verified actually by the Art of Living Center here in Oman.
Beautiful.
Yeah. If I may, if there is time, I just want to share something about breathing.
Yeah.
I'm a heart patient, and I have 7 stents planted in me. And I have 3 blockages in my arteries. And I ended up, putting 7 stents inside me. Then I stopped. They told me there was still a chance for 2 more, but I said, no, thank you very much. I don't want to do this. Then I took alternative treatment using EECP treatment in India with breathing. So for the last 7 years, I am free of any chest pain. Of course, I feel it sometime. It's not that I don't feel it. I don't need to run or jog now at this age, but I live my life very comfortably. I live a good life. I give good quality life. I walk around, I do my shopping, I drive for 7 years. And when I have chest pain, I know how to handle it. And thanks to the breathing. I know my daily routine is, my treatment is now, my cure is walking as much as I can in the morning and doing my morning breathing. And because I'm doing these two things, thanks God, for the last 7 years, I haven't suffered any heart attack.
Wow. Alhamdulillah. Keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Beautiful. Nice.
That's really great. Dr. Hana Amin, would you like to share your experience with us? Dr. Hana Amin, if you would like.
No, okay. I just, maybe I don't agree with Simon. Hello?
Yes, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, we can hear you, Dr. Hana.
Mute.
Yes.
I walk every morning and also in the evening. I don't know, I feel very happy when I go to work. I don't agree maybe with Simon. He say he have the stress and to be a regular system or something. For me, really, especially the morning walk, it's really, I feel very, very happy when I come back, and also in the evening. So, but really for the breathing, I have no any idea. This is the first time I learn, but I know the Indian, they have a lot of workshop or to teach you how to breathe, but I haven't attended anyone, but I heard about it. Thank you.
May I comment, because I'm concerned?
Yes, yes.
Dr. Hana, hello. I'm glad that you agree with me. It's no good that everybody agrees. Actually, I enjoy a lot walking. Otherwise, I would not have been doing it. The stress is not in walking, or I have the same joy as you. The stress is to plan the thing. When you are, is to plan it. Is to have the you see what I mean. But I do share with you the joy of doing something like that. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Can
JD,
I say something?
yeah, anyone who would like to ask any question? His Excellency Khamis Mubarak.
Yes. What I want to say, well, thank you very much. It was very interesting. I am interested in breathing, and I have been doing this for so long time. I took it from the Chinese style of breathing every morning, evening, whatever time I'm free. Today, I learned a lot about the other definitions of this. I like the idea that emotion and breathing are related, and it is related. And also, I like the idea that our body is our home, so we have to take care of our home. Today, also, I learned that you can breathe while sitting. Usually, we do the breathing either by walking or by doing exercise in the outdoor. And I found it for myself, for my lifestyle, it is very useful. However, thank you very much for this very interesting session this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. If there is no other question, JD would like to, if you would like to summarize, just give the final tips to everybody so that we can close the session. Thank you.
My question. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Walid, go ahead.
Thank you for this lecturing. My question, I am walking every day, like 2 hours maybe. Then I make the exercise. But my question, did the exercise and the swimming is good after walking?
Yeah, so it depends
Swimming in the
on
sea.
Swimming in the sea. So it depends on, number one, what you enjoy, because you want to find something that you like. That's important. Yeah. Swimming is very great for a few reasons. One is it gets the breathing going. So breathing is very similar to a breathing session, right? So you're doing that. The respiratory is going. Plus, it's very low impact on the muscles and the joints. So it's a great way. It's even less impact than walking. So it's a great way to get the breathing going and to use that. If you want, if it feels right, you can add some of those components that I talked about, like charging the body before breathing, if you want to do that. Do a few sets before you start, and then use the benefits of the breathing with the swimming. Afterwards, maybe sit on the beach a little bit and just close your eyes and just give yourself some time to feel that and to process whatever is there. And obviously walking is beautiful as well. So I think you have a great plan for yourself. You probably like it. Just add a little bit more breathing awareness, and it sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Walid. Mr. J.D. Thomas, over to you.
Great. So I want to thank everybody for spending this time with me, and on behalf of Eternity Lifestyle Coaching in Dubai for making this possible. There's on my website, if you want to look at some little practices, it's proactivebreathandbody.com. So there you can find little like 5-minute sessions. These are practices you can do at home as well, in addition to the quick exercises I gave you. And yeah, because for some of you, it might just be like a little openness of awareness into something new. But what I can say about what I do and what I love is there's a lot to it. It looks very simple, but there's a whole science behind it. And there's so many different ways to use what I'm talking about. And I love to give. I love to challenge myself as well, and I always practice. So again, hopefully you'll use this information and keep breathing more openly and flowing. And if nothing else, at least the rest of the day, just ask yourself the question: how am I breathing now? And when you feel like an area that's contracted, like, oh, a tight shoulder or hamstrings are tight, in that moment, just take some big inhales. And then as you relax, feel that area of the body let go a little bit. Even little practices like that when you're busy will help. So, yes. So thank you all. And I look forward to seeing you, whether it's in Oman or in Turkey or wherever. So from my heart, I really appreciate this time to share what I love.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Dear guests, we have reached to the end of our session today. Thank you, Coach JD, for the interesting and very useful session. And thank you, Eternity Lifestyle Coaching Dubai, for the chance. Thank you, our guests, for your active participation. نراكم في جلسة الأسبوع القادم. ضيفنا الدكتور حيدر أحمد اللواتي وجلسة بعنوان نحو تعريف جديد للعلوم. إلى حين أن نراكم كونوا بخير. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.